There's a moment, barely a second, where everything becomes obvious. You're talking to her, maybe laughing, maybe saying something you don't even remember, and suddenly, it hits you. The way she looked at you. The pause. The shift in her body language. Something changed. That's the moment you feel it. Maybe she likes you. But the problem is, your brain doesn't trust it. You doubt it. You second guess. And you don't want to blow your shot by being wrong. Now, here's the truth most men never learn. Women are always signaling. Not sometimes. Always. The question is, are you trained enough to catch the signs when they flash for a fraction of a second? In the world of seduction, Neil Strauss said it best. Most guys are stuck in their heads while the game is happening in the real world, in real time, right in front of them. You can't think your way into attraction. You have to feel it, see it, notice it in micro behaviors most guys ignore. So let's get real. If you want to know if she likes you, it's not about asking, it's about observing. And what you observe in the first few seconds, yes, literally seconds, will tell you more than an hour of overanalyzing in your head. What you're about to learn will change the way you read attraction forever. Imagine walking into a room and being able to instantly scan who's drawn to you. That's not a fantasy, it's a skill. The great seducers didn't just rely on looks or charm. They mastered the subtle art of reading emotional data like body language, pupil dilation, micro-touches, and the invisible shifts in tone that signal a woman's emotional state before even she realizes it. Let's break something down that mystery. Yes, the one who trained Neil Strauss in the game used to repeat again and again, attraction isn't a choice, it's a response. And responses by nature are unconscious. You can't fake them for long, which is why those first few seconds matter so damn much. Here's the raw truth. If you pay close attention, women will always show you signs. But these signs aren't dramatic. They're not a rom-com movie stare. They're in the way her feet are pointed toward you even when she's not looking. In the way she plays with her hair, but only when you speak. In the way her voice shifts, ever so slightly. Lighter, more playful, more invested, when it's your turn to talk. You see, what separates an average guy from the kind of man women chase is this: sensory awareness. Most men are walking around dull, numb, disconnected from the field. And it's costing them every opportunity with the women who are silently hoping they'll notice. Here's something you'll rarely hear online, and it's one of the biggest giveaways of attraction. When a woman genuinely likes you, there's a natural awkwardness that surfaces. Not a clumsy one, not nervousness like fear, but a softness, a hesitation, a temporary loss of the polished social mask. That's gold. That's real. That's the moment she forgets to keep up her act and just feels you. The eyes linger a little longer. She smiles, but bites it back. She looks away not to hide disinterest, but to hide how much she's interested. Most men interpret this wrong. They see a woman look away and think, she's not into me. But those who know, the real players, they feel it. They know that retreat is sometimes the ultimate tell. There's another layer, something Robert Greene touched on in The Art of Seduction. He said seduction begins before words are spoken. Think about that. It means that if you're waiting for her to say something obvious, you're already late to the game. The signals are nonverbal, subconscious, and often they're delivered in the invisible spaces between words, between glances, between moments. Now I want you to visualize this. You walk into a cafe. There are 10 women in the room. Most men don't even notice which one looked at them twice. But you're calibrated. You scan. You catch the glance. You register the way she shifted her weight as you walked by. The way she fixed her posture. She doesn't even know she did it. But her body reacted. And when that happens, your internal radar goes ping. Here's a trick straight from the inner circle of natural seducers. It's subtle, almost unfair. It's called the delay. When you make eye contact with a woman, don't break it immediately. Hold it a heartbeat longer than usual, not a creepy stare, just a confident, grounded delay. If she likes you, you'll see it. Her pupils will dilate. Her lips will move, slightly. She might adjust her hair. And the kicker? She'll look away, but she'll look back. That's your green light. What you have to understand is this. Attraction isn't logical, and it's not fair. It's primal. And primal language doesn't use words, it uses energy. When a woman feels your presence, your groundedness, your attention, not needy, not invasive, but steady, She responds with signals. And those signals? That's her way of saying, "I see you." But here's the twist. Most men are so focused on saying the right thing, they miss what's being communicated without words. They're trapped in performance mode. And performance mode kills attraction. Why? Because it pulls you out of the present. And attraction only lives in the now. One of the strongest seducers I ever met told me something that stuck with me for years. He said, "Women are mirrors. They reflect whatever you're feeling about yourself." Think about that for a second. If you feel insecure, doubtful, uncertain, she reflects it back. But if you're anchored, self-assured, even silently amused by your own thoughts, she reflects that. And in those first few seconds, when she's trying to feel who you are beneath the surface, she'll respond before she can filter it. So what should you do? Watch. Observe. Listen not just with your ears, but with your entire nervous system. Feel the space between you. Does it pull her in or does it create distance? Is she leaning closer? Is her voice softer when she speaks to you than with others? Does she mirror your expressions without realizing it? These are all signs, brother. You just have to tune in. Don't seek confirmation. Seek calibration. Don't beg for attention. Command awareness. Women respond to the man who sees her before she knows she wants to be seen. And when you catch that look, that vibe, that shift, you'll know. Not in 5 minutes, not after texting for a week, you'll know it in seconds. And once you've trained your senses to pick up on those micro signals, something even more powerful begins to happen. You stop chasing certainty and start flowing with intuition. And this, right here, is what separates a man who merely seeks attraction from one who generates it. Now listen closely. Attraction isn't a yes or no question. It's not binary. It's dynamic. It breathes. It fluctuates based on how you show up moment to moment. That means a woman might be interested initially, but if your energy shifts into doubt, overcompensation, or trying to impress, her attraction adapts and fades. The key is not to just notice her signals, but to respond to them without losing your frame. This is where inner game and presence become non-negotiable. If you want to catch whether someone truly likes you in seconds, you have to become the kind of man who knows exactly who he is, because that's what women react to. Confidence isn't a line, it's a state. And that state is what she reads even before you say a word. You can see this play out all the time in social situations. A woman might be talking to multiple men. She's laughing, smiling, making casual contact. But then you step in, without forcing, without trying, and her body language changes. She straightens up. She starts playing with her glass. Her laugh softens. She's more attuned. These aren't random. These are primal reactions to presence. And presence is rare. There's a concept in evolutionary psychology that explains this well. Mate value detection. Our subconscious brains are wired to detect cues of dominance, stability, intelligence, emotional control, and we pick these up fast in micro interactions. A woman doesn't wait 20 minutes to figure out how she feels. Her nervous system does it for her. And the more aware you become, the more you'll spot the shift immediately. But let's go deeper. There's another layer even most advanced guys miss. It's what I call emotional pacing. This is when you subtly match and then lead her emotional state. It starts by reading where she's at, bored, distracted, energetic, flirty, and mirroring it without mimicking. Then, once you've synced with her vibe, you start raising the energy. Maybe with a subtle tease, maybe with a bolder eye contact. And if she follows your lead emotionally, that's not just interest, that's investment. Think of it like a dance. At first, she doesn't know the rhythm, but once you catch it and subtly adjust the tempo, she naturally follows. That's real-time seduction. And it's based entirely on moment-to-moment calibration. Now let's flip the perspective. Let's say you're not sure, she's giving mixed signals. She's hot one moment, cold the next. What then? This is where most men spiral. They start overthinking. They start analyzing texts, reading Reddit threads, asking friends for advice. Wrong move. When a woman likes you, it's never just about her behavior. It's about how consistently she orients her attention toward you. You might notice she gets distracted, but then always comes back. She might act aloof, but only when others are watching. But when it's just the two of you, her guard drops. That's what you're looking for. That split between the public mask and the private presence. The moment when she lets her real self peek through. Neil Strauss said something powerful once. When people are trying to be cool, they're not being real. And when you're in tune with a woman's subtle reactions, you'll see it every time. The shift from performative to present, from filtered to raw. And when she shows you that, even for a second, you'll know there's something deeper at play. Another key element? Initiative. A woman who truly likes you won't always say it directly, but she'll create openings. She'll give you hooks to engage. She'll ask vague questions just to keep the conversation going. She'll mention something she knows will require a follow-up. And if you miss those cues, if you stay in your head, you'll miss your window. A woman's signals aren't loud. They're soft, they're precise, and they vanish just as fast as they appear. That's why seduction isn't a script. It's a state of awareness. The more tuned in you are to the present moment, the more you'll catch the gold hidden in her reactions. There's another principle I want to give you now. This one is used by natural seducers across the world, whether consciously or not. It's called reciprocation layering. And it goes like this. When you offer just enough vulnerability, just enough openness to signal trust, women who are interested will mirror it back subtly. Maybe not in words, maybe she won't reveal a secret, but her tone softens, her eye contact holds, her touch lingers. This is her saying, I feel safe enough to come closer. Safety and tension. That's the cocktail. When you offer just enough safety, confidence, groundedness, no neediness, while still holding the mystery, still challenging her emotionally, still dancing on that edge of tension, she has to respond, because her brain is wired for it. You don't need to ask, do you like me? You watch, you feel, you test lightly. You speak something real, something bold, and see how she reacts. The moment you say something vulnerable about your ambition, your outlook on life, your sense of purpose, and she doesn't break eye contact, that's a yes. But even more, if she starts adding to it, if she shares her own version, if she deepens the conversation, she's not just interested, she's investing. And that's the word I want you to carry right now, investment. That's what you're truly looking for when you're asking if someone likes you. Do they invest? Do they lean in? Do they stay present when they could disengage? Don't get distracted by flashy signs. Focus on the subtle signals that reveal commitment, even in small doses. These are the signs that most men miss. But if you're paying attention, really paying attention, you'll catch them. So now that you understand the idea of emotional investment, let's explore another layer, emotional incongruence. This is one of the most overlooked yet revealing indicators of real attraction. What does that mean? Simple. When a woman says one thing, but her body says something else entirely. You might hear her say, "You're such a troublemaker," or "I don't even like guys like you." But there's a glint in her eye, a smirk, a tension in her voice that betrays the truth. That contradiction, that little disconnect between her words and her vibe, is gold. Why? Because real attraction is rarely direct, especially in the early stages. There's a game, a dance, an instinctual resistance. It's ancient, evolutionary. It's her subconscious testing your awareness, your emotional intelligence. She's not trying to confuse you. She's trying to find out if you are as attuned as you appear. When a woman really likes you, she often won't say it straight out. She'll say it sideways, through sarcasm, through challenge, through the way she talks about guys like you as if she's putting you in a box, but watching you closely to see how you'll respond. If you get defensive, she loses interest. If you playfully amplify it, own it, lean in without giving her too much validation, she's hooked. That's because seduction thrives in contrast, polarity, the tension between mystery and familiarity, between confidence and playfulness, and especially between what's being said and what's being felt. When you learn to pick up on emotional incongruence, you unlock an unfair advantage. You realize she's showing you her cards even when she pretends to keep them close. Now let's go one level deeper. There's something called neurochemical resonance. That's not some mystical idea. It's a real thing. When two people are in sync emotionally, when there's mutual attraction, their body chemistry starts to align. Breathing patterns match, speech rhythm syncs. Even heart rates can adjust. Most people aren't conscious of this, but they feel it. They call it chemistry, connection, vibe. But really, it's biology aligning. So what does this mean for you? When you're with a woman and she starts syncing with your rhythm, whether it's how she talks, how she laughs, how she pauses, you're not imagining things. That's her nervous system responding to yours. That's her mirroring without trying. That's attraction, real attraction. The kind you don't have to chase or force. And here's the critical part. Most men ruin it. They feel the sync, then panic. They either freeze and say nothing, or they overcompensate and start trying to escalate too fast. That breaks the tension. That kills the rhythm. What you need to do instead is stay with it. Hold the silence a bit longer. Let her speak first. Match her energy. Guide it forward, slowly, with control. That's what makes her trust you emotionally. And emotional trust is the gateway to deeper attraction. Let me drop a subtle but deadly effective observation tool here, the double take. When you say something unexpected, maybe a tease or something authentic about yourself, watch her reaction. If she looks at you, then looks away, then looks back, that's a signal. The second look, the double take. That's where curiosity and interest live. Because if she really didn't care, she wouldn't look again. Now combine this with what I call lingering energy. It's the vibe you leave behind when you're no longer speaking. If a woman likes you, you'll notice that even when the topic shifts or someone else joins the conversation, she still orients towards you. Maybe subtly, maybe with her body, her feet, her tone. She laughs harder at your jokes. She checks if you're listening. She finds ways to re-engage. This is not about logic. It's about emotional gravity. You're pulling her in without effort. But here's what makes the difference. You don't chase that reaction. You notice it, and then you keep your center. You stay grounded. You give her space to lean in more. You don't jump on every cue like a starving man. Because when a woman senses that you can handle her attraction without becoming needy or erratic, her attraction grows. At this point, you're probably realizing something powerful. Detecting interest isn't about figuring women out. It's about training yourself to be more present, more grounded, more tuned into the moment. Because the more you refine your awareness, the more obvious the signals become. There's another pattern worth catching. Re-engagement loops. Let's say the energy drops. The moment passes. Maybe she checks her phone, gets distracted, looks around. A weaker man panics, tries to win her back with something flashy or forced. But the aware man? He lets it go. He stays calm. And within seconds, she returns. She finds a new question. She throws a playful comment. She initiates contact again. That's a test. And a signal. If she re-engages without you pushing, that's a strong indicator. Also, pay attention to proximity. Humans regulate emotional intensity through physical distance. A woman who likes you will start to minimize that space over time. Not always directly, not always in big moves, but her bag ends up closer to your side. Her chair tilts. Her knee brushes yours. Her drink is placed within your reach. These aren't accidents. They're non-verbal bids for closeness. Attraction always looks for excuses to get closer. And yet, the most critical skill you can develop isn't just noticing these cues, it's handling them without flinching. Because most men, when they finally get that hit of attention or connection, lose their balance. They become self-conscious. Their tone shifts. They either become overly nice or overly cocky, and both destroy the natural tension. You have to be the kind of man who can feel her desire without needing it. That's the edge. That's what she's unconsciously testing for. Can you be aware of her signals, appreciate them, but still remain in control of yourself? Still stay connected to your purpose, your rhythm, your calm? Because that, my friend, is when she doesn't just like you. She starts to respect you. She starts to trust the space you create. And she leans in not just with curiosity, but with desire. And this is where everything comes together. Where subtle signs, unspoken language, glances, pauses, emotional synchronization, even silence speak louder than any rehearsed line. Because when a woman is truly attracted to you, she doesn't need to say it. You already know. Not because you're guessing, not because you're hoping. You know it because you feel it. She shows it within seconds if you're present, calibrated, and fully aware. The real secret isn't about figuring out if she likes you. It's about becoming the kind of man who always knows. A man who doesn't chase external confirmation because he's mastered internal certainty. A man who's grounded, magnetic, and emotionally intelligent. That's the kind of man women don't just like. They remember. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of men who are still begging for validation instead of reading reality with precision. So now it's your turn. Watch beyond the words. Read between the gestures. Cultivate presence. Make yourself impossible to ignore. Because when you become that man, women feel it. And they start looking for excuses to stay. And if this opened your eyes, if you feel like you're finally seeing things you were never taught, I want you to do something. Share this video with another man who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below. Which of these signals have you seen before but never fully noticed? Because this isn't just a channel about seduction, it's for men who want to master the art of understanding, connecting, and attracting on a whole different level. This is just the beginning. And if you stick with me, I'm going to show you things most guys will never learn. See you in the next video.